Hey, welcome to the Explore and More show with Ted Blank, our expert, and Ken Conan, the rookie. Thanks for joining us, as always, Ted.
Good to be here.
I can't wait to pick your brain today. We're going to talk Alaska, and I had a little cruise. We did 7 days in Alaska, my wife and I, this last, I guess it was spring, so a couple months ago. But I'd love to hear about the trip that you had planned. You gave me a sneak peek, and wow, does this look amazing.
Yeah, so I thought this week on the Explore and More show, we would take a look at a small ship luxury cruise through Alaska. And over the course of the last couple of years, Alaska has become a very popular destination. And so we've planned cruises for hundreds of people to Alaska. And this one is one of the favorites that our clients really come back raving about, everything from the onboard experience to the excursions to the pre-cruise and the post-cruise programs. And I think it nails Alaska and gives you everything you're looking for on an Alaskan cruise.
Love it. I remember when we were getting ready for our cruise, the glaciers, that was the highlight for us, and we did a glacier cruise, and I'll tell you, it exceeded my expectations.
Yeah.
Way more. Like, I thought it was going to be, kind of here, and it was so amazing.
It's very true, and I think it's very difficult to put Alaska into words, and it's a place that pictures really don't even do justice to. You really have to see it in person. You have to see those glaciers up close. I mean, you're so close that you can almost reach out and you can touch them, you can smell them, and when they crack and when they calve, you can hear it. And that's just such an incredible experience. Layer on a little bit of wildlife in there, whales and salmon spawning and eagles and bears, and oh my, Alaska's really got something for everybody. And there's a reason why it's become such a popular travel destination.
I love it. Well, tell us about, is it Regent that you're going to take us on today?
Yeah, so we're going to talk about a Regent Seven Seas luxury cruise to Alaska. So, kind of the baseline for this cruise is that it's a small ship. Okay. So it'll carry about 700 guests, and that's in comparison to the larger ships in Alaska that will carry 2,000, 3,000, or 4,000 people. So you really get an intimate experience with this cruise. You get to go some places where the big ships can't necessarily go, but there are no crowds. It's impossible to be crowded. It's impossible to have lines to wait on. And the staff will take great care of you. And all the shore excursions on this cruise are included in the price as well. So it's a great value when it really comes down to it for an Alaskan cruise, because you'll have a choice of several excursions in each port that you can choose the one that's right for you. If you want to do something a little more adventurous, you can do that. If you want to do something a little more sedate or a little more culturally focused, you can do that as well. And we actually have a special shore excursion just for our listeners that we'll talk about at the end if you stick with us through this.
That's awesome. Well, I said wow, but that's a wow to have have that included as part of the package. That's amazing.
It's amazing, and it just takes another layer of stress away. It makes it such an easy vacation.
You're exactly right. That was one thing that when we looked at it, the excursions, you could pay
they can add
little
up
to a lot.
Yeah, they
and
can
it can
add
really add up. And
Absolutely.
so having that kind of as a fixed piece, that's great.
Yeah, it is. And they're great excursions. They're great excursions. They're not freebies. They're not giveaways. These are great excursions that you would pay several $100s per person for. So
not hiking down the seawall in Vancouver.
No, not hiking down the seawall, not walking through the shantytown. These are good excursions.
I love it. Well, where do we start? Is it Vancouver?
Yeah. So this is a northbound Alaska cruise, and again, we will pop the details on this cruise in the description box below, so you can see all the details. You can get a sense of the pricing, and you can actually just click on the button to get a quote or request more information. So make it really easy for you to do that. But yeah, it starts in Vancouver and you go north, and you'll eventually end in Seward, which is the port for Anchorage.
Okay.
And so it's a 7-day cruise, and a lot of the Alaskan cruises are 7 days, which really gives you a chance to see the inside passage. So the sail out from Vancouver is a spectacular way to start your cruise. You sail underneath Canada's equivalent of the Golden Gate Bridge, which is called the Lions Gate Bridge.
Nice.
And you sail right by Stanley Park in Vancouver, which if you have some time in Vancouver before the cruise, it's a great place to visit. And Ken, a little trivia for you, but you know who Stanley Park is named after?
Oh, Stanley from Stanley. I have no idea.
It's named after the guy who gave us the Stanley Cup.
No
Lord
way.
Stanley, who was the Governor General of Canada. So that's where Stanley Park is from. So
should know
there
that,
you go, a
being a
little
hockey
hockey
fan.
trivia
I
for
like
you.
that.
Yeah. But you'll head north through the Inside Passage up to Alaska. And the first day of the cruise is spent scenic cruising. And so you'll have an opportunity to see the beautiful, beautiful countryside of Alaska and British Columbia from the ship as you sail north. And then the first port that the cruise stops at is the city of Ketchikan, which is really the southernmost city in Alaska. And as soon as you get to Ketchikan, you know you are in Alaska. You know you're not in Kansas anymore. It's a real slice of Alaska there. It's a beautiful little town, very much an old fishing port, an old lumberjack town. There are some fascinating sights there. There's actually a lumberjack show you can go to where they do log rolling and all that kind of neat stuff. You can walk through the historic red light district, and then there's a beautiful Native American village nearby where they carve totem poles.
Wow.
And you actually have an opportunity to see them today in modern times using these very historic techniques to make totem poles that are still used by the Native people there. So Ketchikan, a neat port, and then it's north to Juneau, which is the capital of Alaska, and there are no roads to Juneau. So the only way to get there is on a plane or on a ship. Wow. Juneau is a great place to go whale watching. If you want to do a little fishing, it's a good place to do some fishing. And it's also the home to the Mendenhall Glacier. And since we're heading north into Alaska, this will be the first glacier that you'll see. And the neat thing is you can actually take a shore excursion that will take you to the park where the glacier is. Really? And you can go for a hike and actually almost reach the bottom of the glacier. So it's a neat town, some neat experiences there. And then the ship just keeps going north, and you'll visit probably my favorite town in Alaska, which is called Skagway. And Skagway is where the Klondike Gold Rush took place.
Come on.
At the turn of the 18th and 19th century. And the highlight of Skagway is the White Pass and Yukon Scenic Railroad. And that was a train line that was built to bring the gold from the Klondike down to the ocean to be exported. Okay. Well, there's no more gold, but now it's a tourist railroad. And it is really probably one of the most scenic train rides you can take in the world. Wow. I would say it almost rivals one of the beautiful trains you can travel to in Switzerland. Wow. Up into the mountains, and you'll turn around and you'll look down and you'll see your little cruise ship down there that's the size of a penny. So it's amazing to see. But it's also a neat town. It has a historic downtown, and there's also a lot of outdoor things you can do there. Hikes, whitewater rafting, a lot of choices. So again, the choice is going to be yours on this cruise. And then you head just a little bit south to a town called Icy Strait Point. And Icy Strait is where the ocean comes into the Inside Passage. So again, it's a great place to go whale watching. Wow. And every time I've been there, I've seen more whales than I can count. Really? You can take whale watching cruises. You can actually stay on the ship and just watch the whales swim by. Wow. Or you can go on a bear adventure and try to see some bears out there. So there's a lot to do in Icy Strait Point. It's a really pleasant place to spend the day. There's kind of a historic village that's part of the port that you can explore. They actually have a zip line that seems to take about 10 minutes to come down. It's a really, really long zip line. So if that's your thing, there's something there for you. Fun. Yeah, and then the ship will actually leave the Inside Passage, and this you'll be the day that you'll go scenic cruising in among the glaciers. Okay. And so we'll visit the glacier called Hubbard Glacier. And Hubbard Glacier is a big, long tidewater glacier.
What does that mean, tidewater?
Yeah, tidewater means that the glacier ends at the ocean. Okay. And so it's one of the glaciers where when you see it calving, you'll hear it and you'll see the big chunks falling off. But you sail into this bay and there's this massive, massive glacier at the end of it, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then the ship will stop and it will make like a 360-degree pirouette, and you can bask in the beauty of this really splendid, nature's splendor in Hubbard Glacier. I could do it all day. Yeah. I could do it all day. It's just incredible. And people like to go to Alaska to see the glaciers. Yeah. And so this is the highlight of the cruise from that perspective. One
of the things I thought was really interesting coming into that bay was the icebergs.
Yes.
That the captain has to avoid.
Has to kind of manage around those. Absolutely.
And it's, the old adage, you only see a little fraction that's above the water. Yep. And then, like you said, that 360, we were in our stateroom just looking out with a coffee.
just
that
enjoy the
morning, and
view.
it
I mean,
was
just incredible view from your balcony.
I was like,
Yeah,
close
I
your
know.
mouth.
Yeah. It really is. It's really hard. Pictures don't do it justice. It's hard to describe. And the other thing is that there's a lot of wildlife that lives in the glacial area. So if you look down, you might see sea otters or birds fishing and seals and things like that. So it's just a cool experience. And it's so quiet.
Yes.
Because the ship stops and it just kind of floats. And so it's really a total escape from the hustle and bustle of the world as you watch this, just nature's majesty unfold in front of your eyes. So highlight of the cruise, definitely Hubbard Glacier.
I agree. Another thing I'd make note of is when we came in there, it felt like we were almost in like a fjord, with
Yes. Yeah, big rocky mountains up on the sides and stuff. And
beautiful as well.
It really is. Even if there was no glacier, it would be a beautiful cruising
waterfalls
spot.
and like you said, the animals. We saw a brown bear. Yeah, it was again. Echoing what you're saying.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It is amazing, and you just can't put it into words. And even pictures and video don't do it justice. So that's the end. So the cruise will then end in the port of Seward, which is one of the ports for anchorage. And so from there you can go home. Or if you want to, Regent Seven Seas offers a really nice cruise tour, a land tour that will take you up to Denali Denali National Park, where you'll see the Mount McKinley, the Majestic Mountain, a whole different type of wildlife, moose and caribou and bears and things like that, and just see a different side of Alaska. And so that would make it about a 10-day cruise, a 7-day cruise, 10-day cruise tour. The one we've put in the description box is in August of 2025, so a great time to be kind of planning that right now. And I did mention that we have a bonus as well. So we've arranged a special excursion in addition to all the other complimentary excursions included in Ketchikan. So you're going to start Alaska off with a sparkling brunch.
Nice.
So we'll take you to a brunch where they have mimosas and all-you-can-eat Dungeness crab. So you'll have a brunch, and then you'll go see the Native Village, where you'll see the totem poles being carved. You'll have a chance to watch some Native American dancing, and then a little bit of time to enjoy the town before the ship heads off.
So fun.
So that's just for our customers, and it's a cool experience.
That was another thing I enjoyed, was the fresh seafood that you could get at the different ports.
Absolutely. And the food on board the ship is superb, but they do a really nice job of bringing Alaska on board and having Alaskan entrees, but you can also walk down the street and just have some fresh fish that was caught that morning. And if you want to go fishing, there are opportunities to go fishing, and you can ship your catch right back home and put it in the freezer for whenever you want to relive your Alaskan experience.
So you catch a bunch of salmon or whatever the limit is, and then ship it back. That's
salmon
great.
or halibut. Those are the two.
Halibut. Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. I love that. Well, what a great trip. I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
always.
I think it's a fantastic trip, and there are a lot of cruises to Alaska, a lot of different options out there, and I think this is really one of the better cruises. And so I'd encourage folks to click on the link in the description below, browse it, read a little bit about the ports, and then reach out to us. And I'm happy to answer questions from people about what it's like and what other options are out there as well that might be a better fit. But I think this is a cruise that's worth looking at, and my team and I, our job is to make this vacation as easy and as stress-free as possible. So reach out to us, and we're happy to help you plan that Alaskan trip. And at this time next year, you can have it checked off your bucket list. Love it.
Well, as always, the expert Ted Blank is amazing with another great trip for us. Thanks for joining us on Explore and More. Again, the expert Ted, and I'm Ken the Rookie. We'll see you next time.